member of the John Kennedy Tea Party, we have never endorsed or spoke to the issues raised by your Jaga Save Our Parks. We had Judge Brendel speak at one meeting to give his views, and the meeting would have been longer, except we had no electricity, so nobody else had a chance to give their views. I'm sorry for that, but Judge Brendel is not a member of the Tea Party. He has never spoken. He has never been a member of the Tea Party. He has nothing to do with it. And I applaud Commissioner Claypool because he has taken the time to research what he speaks of. I wish he had had more time to fully explain it, but our country is being beset by lots of rules and regulations made up by unelected bureaucrats. And some of the things, the unintended consequences of the Western Reserve Land Conservancy are things that Mr. Claypool spoke to. It is not a Tea Party screed, and we do love the parks. We all enjoy the parks, we go to the parks, we support the parks through voting for them, and I really object to this being handed down to the Tea Party. And as to things that we do things to uplift the community. We do things to educate the community on issues. We have candidates night, which allows people to come and speak their mind. We never say anything to anybody not to come. And if somebody starts to become abusive to somebody, we reject that person. So I would just like to say that we are here to educate the public and to educate our children about what our nation stands for. Freedom, liberty, and that we were founded as a nation under God. Thank you.
John, go ahead. You were next.
I'm John Augustine, Parkman Township resident. First of all, I thought some of you may not have seen this article. This is a magazine that the Cleveland Museum of Natural History puts out called The Explorer. There was an article, I just got it in the mail here this last week. There's an article here, A Head Start for Spotted Turtles. It talks about the Spotted Turtle program that's been going on with a number of organizations, and it mentions it was started right here in Shelter County. I think it was Mrs. Gingrich who started monitoring. She put radio monitors on turtles to see exactly how they travel. And later on, I believe Paul went on to try to captive raise eggs, collect eggs and raise them for release. And it even mentions in the article that it started here, I can quote, the Spotted Turtle Head Start initiative was started by biologists with the Geographic Park District. So they deserve a commendation for being in the forefront here. And, excellent. And they're being followed by, there's probably close to a dozen other organizations that are following on. And we're doing the same thing, and we're working with, I believe they're still working with I have a couple of comments here regarding the Ohio Wetlands Foundation. They do not do any monitoring of the wetlands area that they've come into agreement with. I talked to the director there, and he told me they rely on monitoring by the Park District. So if the Park District doesn't monitor those areas, nobody will. Another thing here, the Park District's allowed to do 4 naturalist programs in their year. How in the world can they do naturalist programs if they're not allowed in an area? And maybe they are allowed in there, I don't know. That's the question I have, exactly who is allowed in there. Let me see. Regarding the observatory park, I belong to an organization that has quite a few, it's an astronomical related, they have quite a few engineers and astronomers, professional people with it. And I talked with Charlie Knox. Charlie's the fellow from Case who who managed that telescope for many years. He said it would cost about $250,000 to fully automate it. And my suggestion along those lines is maybe that would be better spent than money for elevators and running restrooms, and not bring it up to date with the codes for large groups. What I might suggest you do, have Charlie meet you there some evening and look through the telescope. As far as I know, it is operational now. He may have to do some tinkering with the computer to get it working, but have the Spring Valley group, have them bring out a smaller telescope outside and compare it with what you see through. I think you would, it'll give you some insight into some of the temperature problems that are a problem with that scope. One of the problems is it's a thick mirror. The mirror is like 36 inches in diameter, and it's 8 inches thick, solid fused quartz. And the tolerances on that are incredible. They're like, they have that curve has to be accurately within 2 millionths of an inch. And temperature waves coming off of that degrade the image. But I'm not going to go into it fully now, but that's the problem with it. And there are solutions, and for those problems, they should be looked into. I'd like to make some comments about Mr. About Mr. Claypool's talk earlier. First, he talked about who best protects property. He mentioned, well, his view was private people and government. Well, there's a lot of private people that protect it excellently, but boy, there's some messes that private people make. There are a lot of people who will buy land and their only thought is how they can make money off of it. That's it. And all you have to do is look at some of the Superfund sites around here where people have bought land for their industries to make a lot of money and left a mess. And the government, we the people have to clean up afterwards. Look at the lumber barons back in the 1890s before the Forest Service was started. They acquired huge tracts of land, lumbered them out, and left stumps. And it was up to the people. The Forest Service got established about that time, early 1900s. They had to replant a lot of those areas. So that just gives you an example. It's not so simple to say private is better, government is bad. It's more complicated than that.
John, you're supposed to be trying to go 3 minutes.
Well,
Come on.
I have more. There were last year. There were. Last month there were.
I know. Keep going. Right now you're at 5 minutes. You have to stop.
He talked about there was some discussion about easements lowering property values. I've never heard that. Anybody who lives near a protected area, I'm sure they wouldn't want that protected area that has an easement on it traded for a housing project. Their value, their product, their property is higher because of that easement. Appraisals. You know, when Mr. Claypool talked about someone selling a conservation easement, getting an appraisal on it, the appraisal maybe would be $5 million. That person accepts $2 million and then takes our tax deduction before it goes through. He's giving away by accepting only $2 million for that property. That's a gift. He's giving away $3 million. He deserves to have a deduction on that as much as anyone who donates $3 million. In terms of farm conservation easements, when a person has a farm and sells a conservation easement on his farm, he's being paid for restrictions on that farm. Those restrictions may be no subdivisions, no clear cutting of forest. It would depend on the individual how it's drawn up. He's getting paid for that, so he has to abide by that. When he sells that property, that person who buys it from him knows that. It's in the deed. He knows that he's generally will be able to buy it for less because of that easement being on it. So there's no, that's the way it is. If he doesn't like that easement, he doesn't have to buy the property. He can buy some other property somewhere that doesn't have an easement on it. And I think I'm gonna get kicked out of this law. I'll hold that next. I just spent about a couple more hours.
Should we respond to your comment? You said that you thought that the revisions to Article 5 were not sufficient. In fact, Article 5 does talk about to conduct any business, and our legal counsel is here. Dave, you can look at Article 5, and if you think that we have to be more specific about putting in that we will be notifying of the purpose, so that blue language, time, place, and purpose.
Yeah.
I got the statute with me if you want.
No, I'm not arguing with you, I'm just
No, I
saying
know, he wants
I'm
the
just saying
statute,
that-
I have.
that in the third sentence of the section, as it's currently written, it does say conducting business, but I understand your point about how the blue language does not specifically state that we would notify of the purpose. But it could say time, place, and purpose of all special sessions.
We usually publish the agenda, and I think we've done it quite clearly sometimes.
And then in Article 6, in fact, the last sentence there does say advance notification, well, actually, advance determination, you were suggesting notification of the time, place, and purpose. So, I mean, it does try to incorporate and capture the directive of the statute to include that word.
Right, it does there. The sentence below starts time and place, but it could also say time, place, and purpose.
Okay, well, I just wanted to let you know that,
Regular sessions.
I just wanted to let you know that, in fact, there has been an effort made to make sure that we're addressing the specific requirements of the statute, and we can get further advice from Mr. Andre on whether he thinks further refinements are necessary to address the comments that you've made. But I appreciate your time in looking at the language. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate you looking at
Good afternoon, I'll try to keep this short. I'm Mike Petisella. I used to sit up here with these people when I come in with the wicked gun. And we know each other. I resent anybody saying the Tea Party is racist or radical or nuts. When I sat up here, this park is the gem of Geauga County. This is the Geauga County. I sat up here as the president of the Tea Party and as your park commissioner. This Tea Party is, you have a problem with the Tea Party indoctrination, our children and grandchildren, on how this country was founded, about the founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington. I mean, those are nasty comments. These people up here are trying to work and do their job to keep our parks as a gem.
My problem is not with
No,
Okay,
wait,
guys.
you criticize the Tea Party.
Wait.
Skip Claypool, I brought Skip Claypool into the Tea Party. I founded the Tea Party in Geauga County. And I sat up here and did everything I could to bring these things to life, what was going on in this township. And these parks are really great. We got the gems. They're better than any park in the country. I've said that 1,000 times. But there's so much venom that you people have. There's different views. Stop this bickering and get on with developing these parks for everybody.
Okay, I'd like that we stick to park business and anybody's political affiliation be left out of our meeting, please.
And I agree with you.
Anybody's
They
discussion,
should be.
any political affiliation.
But I'm not gonna take the humility or being abused, saying a Tea Party is indoctrinating children. Come to the meeting, see what they're about, and maybe you'll understand.
Yeah,
And I want to thank the commissioners, you're doing a fine job.
thanks. Okay.
My name is Chris Sipley, I'm from Middlefield, Ohio. I had no intention of talking today. I came to be informed. I'm not a public speaker, and I'm nervous as all get out. One of the things that you brought up about one of the parks, that the EPA is saying that we have to take the recreational things out of it. This is an example of what you were talking about. The government, unelected bureaucrats, the EPA, unelected bureaucrats dictating what we do with our parks. And we can't even go and enjoy our parks because the EPA says we can't do that. I am appalled and insulted at your pathetically uninformed opinion of of what goes on at the Tea Party. And when you made the comment that you did not want the parks to be involved in political activity, and you're referring, I'm assuming,
Let's keep it in park business. I have to tell you.
Business. We are having a Liberty Camp at the park, and that's what you're referring to. You don't want us to have it. I've been a volunteer at the Liberty Camp for 2 years in another county. I have seen children become so excited about our history of our founding. They are not being taught in schools. I see little kids go and rescue the flag because it's falling on the ground. I am sorry. I object. This has been way too
It's been political for many, many months.
If you're going to say it's political to have these at the park.
So I think we're going to stop public session and we're going to go ahead and go into executive session for land negotiations and personnel updates. Pardon me? Is it June 12th? No, June.
There's a second Tuesday of the month.
I think it's
So
the
that'd
10th
be-
then, or is it the 12th? Is it the 9th? The 9th? It's June 9th, sorry. I didn't know that long. Hey, can you just send an email so that we know ahead of time so that we can appropriately mark the agenda so somebody doesn't say we tried to pull back? Oh, I'm so jealous. I second the motion. We need to go into executive.